What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm in Farming Simulator 15. So, we're down here on field, if I bring back my HUD, down here on field 8 with the case and the New Holland baler, because as you guys remember from the last episode, I went around and cut all the meadows and went back and raked them up, and now we're baling. This first cut is probably going to be silage because I need it, and the next cut will be hay. Because obviously we'll need that. I also need to sort of reorganize the way that I'm storing bales. I don't like storing them on end. I want to store them the long way, you know, the more traditional way. It's easier for me to store them, you know, on end like that, but it's just not, it's not great, because what happens is they rot on the bottom, you know, and then you get, you know, a rotted bale on the bottom, a good bale in the middle, and then, you know, it's not consistent. So now obviously in the game that makes absolutely no difference which way you store them, but for my, you know, way of playing, for the role play, for the story, it makes sense to do it that way. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to baling. Go ahead and get this thing unfolded and get it lowered. Well, let's not lower it yet, actually. Let's go ahead and get on a row here first. So, as you can see, it's 10:45 in the morning. It's cloudy. It's not going to rain, though. I've already checked to see if there's any rain in the forecast. There is not. So, it's just going to be cloudy with no rain, you know, which is unfortunate, but okay. You know, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. Can't make it rain if it's not going to rain, so shouldn't take too long to get a bale, because I've got most of a bale in there from the last meadow. So really going to have to, you know, I say this all the time, but I really need to think about some more grass, you know. What I may do is fields 5 and 6 are kind of small, and I didn't cut them. I didn't, you know, combine them or anything. Which I'm thinking about doing for next season. I can't do it now because I've already planted them, obviously. But for next season, I may combine them into, well, or cut them into 2, you know, mostly equal-shaped fields, and then plant them with grass, because I just don't have enough grass, and I can't run out of grass, obviously. I need to be able to feed my animals, so this is an awkward field to bale. Not always, but sometimes, depending on how I rake it, you know. I wasn't having the best raking session the last time, so I did actually come back and clean it up, because I realized what a mess I made of it. There we go. Again, not going to get a ton of bales off of these meadows, but it will do for now. You know, come on, cruise control. So, if you guys have watched Reefy's videos in the last couple of days, because obviously, you know, you guys are aware of my sort of, you know, mental breakdown yet again, where I was like, oh, I'm not doing videos anymore, blah, 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 you know, and I've gotten over that, obviously. And thank you again, every single one of you, for your support, for your comments on the Facebook pages, for your, you know, you're just, hey, man, you know, we love you no matter what you do, and all that. And thank you, guys. That means so much to me. It really does. You know, I really felt like I sort of abandoned you, you know, and I didn't want to do that. You know, it's not fair to you guys. You guys have been so awesome to me that, you know, I don't feel like I have to make videos. You know, I don't want you guys to think like, oh, you know, we're making BP make videos. No, you're not. It's not that. It's the fact that, you know, the channel is now at 2,000 subscribers, which is amazing. I mean, you know, even though I said on my Facebook page that I was, you know, something inside of me was annoyed at the fact that, you know, the channel wasn't growing as fast as I thought it should. 2,000 subscribers for this pokey little channel? Come on, that's awesome. And thank you so much to every single one of you who've come and watched the video, who've liked them, who've commented, who've subscribed, you know, who've you know, given me some love. You know, it means so much to me. It really, really does. And I didn't want to abandon that, you know what I mean? I don't want to abandon my friends, and I consider each and every one of you guys my friends. It's that simple. But anyway, so Reefy has started sort of a new story about what he calls a cult. Apparently there's a new organization in the area called, if I get this right, I may not get this right. Let me just get this bale out of here before I get too much into this story. I believe it's called Citizens for a Moral Britain, I think it may be called. Apparently, Mrs. Councilor Crawford Brown has gone completely off the loop now, and has decided that, you know, there's things in the area that she doesn't like. As you guys are probably aware, Mr. Crawford Brown had a bit of an affair not too long ago, you know, and that probably really sort of sparked this whole thing with Mrs. Counsel Crawford Brown. You know, she's not the friendliest of women to begin with, and I'm sure this whole affair thing has just kind of maybe snapped a little bit of change she had left, let's say. And apparently Mike is on this list of people who are, you know, or who are not as moral as the people in this organization would like to see, because Mike is he is a sort of an announced atheist. He, you know, and again, you know, believe what you want to believe, right? You know, live the way you want to live. As long as, you know, I have a pretty simple philosophy: as it harms none, do what ye will, right? That's how I live. You know, I think Mike is a great guy. I certainly don't think he's amoral or immoral because he doesn't, you know, believe in God or whatever. You know, those are all personal choices that you get to make for yourself. You know, but this organization has sort of targeted certain people in the area that they believe are not living a moral life, and they are sort of, you know, doing the whole woe is me thing about the, you know, the immorality that they believe is spreading across the UK and all this. It is, of course, ridiculous. Now, they've been putting out flyers. I guess I got one on my fence the other day. I saw something kind of flapping in the wind on the fence, but to be honest, I'm too busy, you know, to be looking at that. So, but what I did do was I went on their website, and I looked at, you know, some of the things that they're complaining about and some of the things that they're not happy about. And lo and behold, and it's not really that much of a surprise, guess who's on the list? Well, of course I'm on the list. You know why I'm on the list? I'm on the list for this reason. One is because you don't see me in church. I'm not a religious person. My religious beliefs are mine. I keep them to myself. You know what I mean? I live my life the way I want to live it, and I'm not worried about what other people think. I could care less. That's never been a problem for me. You know what I mean? I don't go, oh, I better go do this because this person might not like it. You know what? Suck it. I don't care. And apparently their biggest gripe with me, which I find just hilarious, to be honest, is the fact that I am not a British citizen. I am not a subject of Her Majesty. I'm an American who came to the UK, who came to this area, who bought a farm, you know, and they don't like that. They think that, you know, British farms should be farmed by British people. Well, you know what? Okay, suck it again. You know what I mean? I'm not going anywhere. I love this area. I have sort of adopted this as my, you know, my sort of second home, I guess you could say. And I'm not going anywhere, and I don't care what they think. You know what I mean? Now, could you know, obviously Crawford Brown has some, you know, some connections. She's pretty well connected. Could she make my life even more uncomfortable than she already has? Possibly. You know, I am going to have to walk a fine line with her. Unlike Mike, who can kind of just go, you know, just, yeah, go crazy, just leave me alone, right? But I kind of have to walk a finer line because I am not, you know, a subject, and I don't know if she could just find a way to, you know, get me deported from the country. I would hate to think that she could, but you know, if by some reason she could, I don't want that to happen, obviously. So I'm going to have to walk a little bit of a line with her. But I will tell you this: if they keep calling me out, and they keep calling out my friends, and they keep calling out people in the area that I respect and that I like, you know, there's only so much of that I'm going to have before I feel the need to do something about it. So, going to have to keep a close eye on this organization, or cult, as Mike calls it. And cult may not be too far off of a word, you know. So, there's always those people who say, you know, who think that they need to be the moral compass of an area, right? You know, like, oh, well, you're not living the way that I think you should live, and blah blah blah. You know, and I don't get that, because I would never tell anybody how to live. I would never say to somebody, hey, you know, you need to do this because that's the way I do it. Well, that's just dumb. You know, that's just dumb. And that's, you know, everybody has the right, as it harms none, to live their own way. So, anyway, enough of those idiots, enough of that nonsense. I don't want to give them any more exposure than I absolutely have to. But, you know, I am keeping an eye on them, and if it gets too ugly, well, you know, I may have to take some action. So today, what the idea today is, I'm seeding the last grain field. I have put soy, barley, and wheat in. Soy because it's pretty drought resistant. Wheat is also fairly drought resistant. You can see the case over there is slipping. Found one tree on that field, but he'll figure himself out. you know, those two crops are pretty drought resistant, so I'm not so worried about them. The barley, I need to get some muck down over the top of the barley to kind of hold some moisture in there. I am going to bomb it with, you know, nutrients and you know, herbicides and anything I can mix with water, basically, you know, to get as much soil moisture in there as I can. I also need to plant potatoes up on 11 North, you know, the top half of the field that I cut into two. So I have wheat on the bottom half. I decided not to plant canola. I was going to plant canola even though I didn't have a contract, but I'm just scared that because of the yields, and you know, already we can see prices. You know, they project prices 6 months out ahead of time from, you know, from harvest, or from when they project the harvest to be. And prices are already dropping because they know the yield is not going to be fantastic. So I don't want to put canola in the ground, which doesn't have a great yield to begin with, and then be stuck with it and not be able to sell it. So I decided, you know what, let's only plant stuff we have contracts for. I do have contracts for sugar beets, I have contracts for wheat, I have contracts for barley, I have contracts for soy, and I have a contract for potatoes. So I need to get those potatoes in the ground too. But the potatoes are kind of going to be a solo thing, kind of a, well, not a solo thing, but a kind of a one-shot deal, because I'm going to have to go back and refill the potato planter and everything. So once all the grain is planted, we will go on to potatoes. But what I want to do now is I want to get these bales baled. I want to get them wrapped, and maybe get them picked up, depending on how long this all takes. So it's going to take a little while to wrap. I mean, obviously, I'm not getting a ton of bales. You know, if I get 4 or 5 bales off each one of these fields, that's a big deal. So the fields are in very good shape. I want to keep them that way. I am going to come over and slurry these fields afterwards. So I have a little bit of I have actually quite a bit of slurry left. So what I might do is, because I have more muck than I have slurry, I may reserve the slurry for the meadows, and then do muck over the top of the at least the barley. I may not do the wheat and the soy, because they you know, the yield's not going to be awesome, but they'll at least live. You know what I mean? They're drought resistant enough to be able to stand a low soil moisture level. You know, whereas the barley really can't. So, or the sugar beets for that matter either. So I hate the fact that I have to chase down every little kind of plot of grass here, but I really need to. You know, grass is always an issue for me. So. I also need to water all my animals, but we'll probably do that in the next episode before we get ready to start planting potatoes. I'm not going to get another bale here, but that's okay. At least we'll clean it up. What do we get here? 3? 3 bales. Jeez. Okay, well, it is what it is, I guess. Turn that off, get that folded up, turn the beacons on, jump back in the cabin. Get this back to the dairy farm. I've got the Ford with the wrapper already set up, so... where am I going? Where am I going? The entrance is over here, BP. So we'll get these wrapped up, and maybe get them picked up. You know, once they're wrapped, it's not a big deal to leave them in the field. It's not, you know, it's not a crisis if they sit in the field. But obviously, I'd like to get them back to the dairy cows. So, whoa, 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 whoa! That guy parks his truck there every day. He must work nights, because he parks his truck there every day. I'm going to smash into it one of these days, and it would be my fault, because obviously he's, you know, more than allowed to park his truck on that, you know, on the road. So. I just don't need that big insurance claim for me, you know, taking the bed of his truck off with an implement when I come around that corner. I'm guessing Courseplay must have just turned his lights on. You know, again, I say this all the time. I wish there was a way for Courseplay to figure out that it's not dark. You know what I mean? Yes, it's darker. It's, you know, it's 5 minutes of 11. It's cloudy. It's not as sunny as it probably should be. But it would be nice for Courseplay to say, okay, well, you know, I'm going to turn my lights on between this time and this time, say, you know, or if it gets fully dark. I don't know how that works, but, or even if there was an option to say, you know, hey, you know, you can turn Courseplay, or you can turn the lights on and off on Courseplay, you know, yourself. So, because I can turn them off, but he'll just turn them back on again. All right, let's get this parked up. And we'll go, the Ford is over here, as you can see, in the dairy meadow. Oh, easy. Do not back in. Do not smash into my shed. Ah, this isn't going to work. I picked a bad angle. Well, maybe. If I'm lucky. Nope. A little bit more. Without bending the drawbar in half. That would be nice. Oh, that's not where I want to leave that. That's not where I want to leave that. I like it over here. I really should start leaving this inside because leaving it outside is not great for it. Although it doesn't rain here much, so I don't really have to worry about the rain. That'll do. That'll do. We'll leave that right there and pull it forward a little bit. Shut off the case. We don't need that right at the moment. Make sure I set the brake, and we'll tab around and see how he's doing. I got this over here, although I do need to go fill it up again. Oh, you're doing okay. Yeah, he's going to need to be refilled. I'm going to have to go fill the Unimog up at some point. As you can see, turn his lights on, which always causes lag. Oh, Beavis, hey, man. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, by the way, for all the support. You know, as you guys are probably aware, the channel hit 2,000 subscribers yesterday. And yes, I am going to do something for that. I think I'm going to do a shout-out video because there's so many of you guys that I want to make sure you know what you mean to me. You know what I mean? So probably what I'm going to do is I might hop on to Euro Truck or maybe another game. You know, a game where I can talk and do the game at the same time, you know? And just shout out a bunch of names, let you guys know what you mean to me, you know what I mean? Because you all mean something to me, you know. You all mean, you know, I have my subscribers that have been with me since day one, you know, and I have the newer subscribers who are active and who are leaving me comments and suggestions and everything else. But there's so many of you I want to make sure that I acknowledge because you guys mean a lot to me, and so that's coming up. You guys can look forward to that. So, okay, well, you know what? Do I let him? Oh, no, you know what? Let's be a little proactive here, BP. Let's be a little proactive. Let's get in the Unimog. Go get this filled back up again. How do I get out of here without driving on the field? Where's the entrance? Do I really have to drive all the way around? Oh, that's annoying. Just trying not to drive on the field any more than absolutely possible because I have a feeling that, you know, that we're not going to get the rain. Really? What is the problem? Oh, these trees. That's what you get when you try to avoid driving on the field. Now I have no choice. I have to, otherwise I'm going to get the pipe stuck on that tree again. Get off the field, get off the field. Yeah, we're not going to get any rain, and I'm not going to be able to plow. So, you know, soil moisture is going to, soil compaction is going to be an issue. Do I really have to drive all the way around? I do, and I'm going to get stuck on this pipe too, right? On this tree too? No. Okay. Yeah, I really think I'm going to cut these fields, you know, and get rid of some of these hedge and everything. And I'll put the hedge back somewhere else, you know. But this field is just not ideal, so. Actually, I should have went out the other way, but I couldn't have made that turn. So. Definitely going to get some muck down over here. I don't think I'm going to have enough to do the whole field, but I'll do as much as I can. Going to need some lime on field 10. Field 10, for some reason, always has an acidity problem. I'm not really sure why. And it's not, you know, and I said this in the last episode, it's not the whole field. It's bits of the field, you know, and it makes me want to spot spray it, you know, just hit the spots that need it instead of doing the whole field. Field 10 is really the only field I ever have a problem with acidity. Could be a drainage issue over there, perhaps. You know, I know the seed rep and the, you know, and when I sent the seed rep, obviously, you know, comes out and looks at the fields and everything, and he's also the guy that takes my soil samples and takes them off to their lab to have them analyzed and everything. You know, it's all part of the sort of the package that you buy when you get seed from this particular company. So. There we go. I can't count the number of times I've backed up to this thing. You'd think I would get it right eventually. That wasn't too bad, but might as well fill it up, I guess. Can I see the Seedmaster from here? Yeah, the Seedmaster. Obviously, I fill up the Seedmaster, you know, at least once a year. Usually only once a year. I only need to fill it up, so. This thing holds a ton of seed, and I don't need that much seed, so. Okay. That will do. I was actually thinking about selling this, but I may keep it, because it is handy, so. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Need to go this way.
$60,
67 episodes now, I think it is. Sorry, I got quiet there. I was thinking 67 episodes, and I think it's the first time I've ever driven down this road. Because you don't really pay. Obviously, I'm not going down roads that I'm not, to fields that I'm not using. So, now that we at least have, this field, so these fields, I can go down this road. Now, how do I want to do this? Well, I guess it makes more sense to go down to the end of the road. I'll have to get my my excavators down here to tear up this this little bit of mud here and fill it in and everything. Obviously, those guys are awesome, so I have no problem with hiring them again. So. Okay, I'm going to have to stop him. Otherwise, as soon as I put any... Oh, nope, this way, this way. I mean, how can you own a farm and not know how to get around it? Gonna have to stop him because as soon as I put any seed in that planter, in that sower, he's gonna take off. So, okay. Let's see. This is probably not the smartest thing to do, but I'd really like to clean up these ponds too. A lot of these ponds are just drainage ponds or old cow ponds and stuff. But I'd like to clean them up. Kind of maybe make the farm a little prettier maybe. Oh. Of course. Nope, not the horn. This is going to stick. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to go up here and turn around. Now, of course, the Unimog does not have a very tight turning circle. Well, that'll do. That'll do. But what I got to do first is I got to stop him. Otherwise, he will, as soon as one seed goes in the tank, he'll take off. So. Stop, driver, just for the moment. Hop out of that. Hop back into the Unimog. And we'll get him filled up. He's not too far from done anyway, so that's good. Okay, I believe that's full now. Let's get this out of the way. Fold the pipe back up again. Where am I going to leave this? The problem is I can't really leave it here because when he comes to do the headlands. So, I guess we'll have to drive down and around again, but not under the trees. And maybe leave it over here, I guess. In the opening of the field, I suppose, makes the most sense. This way, he will not be in the way when the case comes around to his headlands. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. I won't need to refill him again here anyway, but... Okay, now let's once again tab around. Nearest drive course, and off you go. Off you go. Wish you didn't have to run your lights, but okay, I get it. You think it's dark, it's fine. Alright, so now we need this. Actually, I need to lift this thing. Nope, it already was lifted. It already was lifted. It already was lifted. Very good. I should probably fold this up, actually, since I'm going down the road with it. There we go. All right. And we'll go up to fields, or meadows 8 and 9, and get those all wrapped up. And then I guess maybe the next episode, we'll pick them up. Going on 24 minutes now. No point in making these episodes, an hour and a half long, right? So. I think everything's moving along pretty good now. We're getting into sort of, middle-ish spring now, and everything's pretty much planted. It's going to take a little while to plant the potatoes, just because there's going to be a lot of running back and forth. Because as you guys remember, if you guys remember from sort of the end of last season, I reserved a bunch of potatoes in the boxes, just to make it a little more realistic when we're planting. So hopefully I reserved enough. That's a pretty good sized field, and hopefully I have enough. I may not. That will be not good if I can't plant that whole field. No, we'll go up this way, because that's not the meadow I want anyway, so... At least I remembered this time. I always turn down there. I always end up, going into that meadow when it's not mine, and, like, I didn't cut this meadow, so... Just a little update. I realized that I hadn't talked about this in quite a while. A little update on the brewery. Obviously, with the water problem, as you guys know, making beer requires a lot of water. So the gentleman that wanted to go into a partnership with me, we've sort of put that on hold because the only way we could really get away with doing it now is if we trucked in a ton of water, and it would cost a ton of money. So we're kind of putting that on hold for the moment until the drought situation kind of works itself out, hopefully. I bet I'm going to get close to this and it's just going to pick it up, right? Oh, no, it didn't. Very good. Lower it. There it goes. Now, if I was smart, I would put these bales sort of in a central location, I guess. Yeah, the first cut here of these meadows will be silage, excuse me, and then the next cut will be hay. Oh. Hey, we'll leave them right here, I guess. Like I said, it's not a big issue that I don't have to pick them up today. I can come back tomorrow and pick them up, so. Once they're wrapped, they're fine. Very nice. I like this little Tanko wrapper. It's not, it's not the fanciest thing in the world, but it works good. And I don't need a big trail, wrapper, so this is perfect. The old Ford, still doing its job, still working for me, again, whatever. This is probably one of those things that eventually the Crawford Browns will get on me about, it'll be Citizens for a More Ecologically Sound Britain or something like that, who knows, and they'll be like, oh, well, you've got this American over there who doesn't care, he's just belching black smoke into the sky and ruining our environment and everything else. Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it on purpose just to annoy you guys, which obviously I'm not, but... I just really can't. I can't really afford another tractor at the moment. You know what I mean? So I need 3 tractors, and I need so I'm keeping the Ford, and that's all there is to it. So until they come and I don't know, tow it away from me, I guess. I guess we'll just keep it. So. Probably at some point I'm going to get to that acreage limit where I'm really going to have to really comply with the emissions and the noise rules, because it is based on acreage. So at some point I'm going to get to that point, and then we're going to have to do it. But hopefully by that point, if we're going to do that kind of acreage, then I'll have the money to buy another tractor. So. Oh, 5 bales off this field. That's actually not awful. That's better than I thought. For a meadow this size, 5 bales is not horrible, right? So. Coffee. Need coffee. Been a couple of long days here on Old Ridge. We were plowing from 6 o'clock in the morning till about 10:30 at night, and then back up again at 6 in the morning, and seeding and everything. And it's just been that's spring though. It's my operation is not massive. I don't have a ton of people working for me. I only got the 3 guys. Well, the 2 guys and me really. And then I bring in a couple extra come harvest time, but so it's long days, but that's part of being a farmer, and that going in, that's the way it's going to be. So if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to do it, but I want to do it, so, and I enjoy it. I don't mind a long day on the farm, not one bit. Let's see. So 5 bales off this field. I think I got 4 off the dairy metal, so that's 9. How many are over there? 4? That's not, yeah, it's not awful, you know. Way better. Yeah, good lining up job, BP. Whatever. Doesn't matter. They're only going to go on a trailer anyway, so. One thing I am curious about, I mean, as you can see, the soil moisture on this is great. It's actually a little too high. You know, and the nutrients are all good too. I'm curious to see what kind of quality we're getting here. Now, obviously, it's not going to be silage for a couple days, but quality A+, yeah, very good. 69.9% humidity, which is perfect. So, very good, very good. Okay. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, not fold this thing up, and go over to the other meadow, and we'll get those bales done. I think we'll call that an episode. In the next episode, we will be mucking the barley field. Mucking field, what is it? 1? No, field 1. We'll be mucking that, putting a layer of muck over the top of that, and hopefully we'll be starting on planting potatoes. So, because I want to get the potatoes in the ground. And all the grain will be planted. So then it's just a case of monitoring the soil. I know I need to get some, I'm going to put liquid lime down on field 10, just because, you know, it's liquid, first of all, and it needs it. So then I'm going to need to put some herbicide down on everything. Again, once I figure out what everything needs for herbicide. So, okay. Let's see. 3 bales? I got 3 bales off this field? Really? It's sort of the same size as the other meadow, but for some reason I always seem to get less bales off this. Probably because of the way that I cut it, you know? Just because this meadow has the fence up against the apartments and everything, so. Yeah, I really like this thing. I like this Tanko wrapper. I see no reason to replace this with anything else. I guess if I was going to, at some point, I mean, if I get it to the massive dairy that I really like, you know, at some point we may need to look at a bigger piece of equipment, but for right now, this works just fine. And it's a very cool mod, too. And I know somebody's going to ask me, and I don't remember. I don't remember where I got it from. Probably your best bet is to Google, you know, Tanko, you know, bale wrapper FS15, you know. I'm sure it's probably kicking around Mod Hoster or LS 2015 in one of those places, you know. One thing I like about these bale wrappers is the way they work. It's not an instant process, you know what I mean? It doesn't just immediately start wrapping, and it takes a couple minutes to wrap a bale like it would in real life. I think that's really cool, you know, because there are times, especially for me, where I realize that I'm going around at full speed, right? And I just want to slow down. Farming is not a quick process. Obviously, you want to be as efficient as possible, but it doesn't, you know, you're not doing it at full speed, you know what I mean? Everything takes a certain amount of time. So, I'm waiting for it to drop, and it's waiting for me to tell it to unload. So little things like this, you know, like wrapping bales, it, you know, takes a couple minutes each bale to wrap. You know, that slows everything down. You know, working at a more realistic speed, you know, like I'm not seeding it at 10 miles an hour. I'm seeding it, I think, 5, you know, because that's sort of, you know, to keep it with the story, that's sort of what the seed rep has said, you know, for this soil condition, for the seed you're putting down, this is the, you know, you want to put down this much an acre. So you want to set your, you know, your seed nozzles to this, and you want to seed at this speed. So, okay, very good, you know. Okay. Now I'm curious to see what these bales look like, because this field is in equally as good a shape, and I want to keep them that way, obviously. So let's look at this one. 69.9. Yep, very good. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Very good. And those can just, like I said, hang out there for a little while. So, you know what? Let's make this the thumbnail. I'd already taken a thumbnail, but I kind of like this one. This one's kind of neat. So let's make this one the thumbnail. Just go ahead and hide the HUD here, and hopefully things don't go flying off in the air like they did on Waldecker that time. So, and there you go, guys. So let me just jump in here and turn this off now. I will jump back out again. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I was going to say not the most exciting episode, but I'm not saying that anymore, right? It's farming. This needed to be done. So, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed it, please let me know. Click the like button. You know what I mean? It helps out the channel a bunch. It moves us up in the search recommendations. More people can come watch our videos and hopefully enjoy them. Once again, guys, thank you so much for putting up with me again through my latest lunatic period. It means so much to me that you guys are like, you know what, BP, we love you, man, and we understand. There's a reason why I tell you guys the things I tell you. The reason why I tell you about my personal issues, about my head issues, about things like that. You know what I mean? Because I want you guys to know that regardless of how much of a lunatic I am, you guys are always #1 priority with me. It means so much to me that you guys come and watch the videos and hang out and message me and leave me tips and suggestions and ideas and all that kind of stuff. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. Be on the lookout for the 2,000 subscriber video. That'll be coming in a couple of days once I put it together, once I get my list of people that I want to shout out. I'd love to shout out all 2,000 of you, but I think that would probably make for a 2-hour-long video, and that might not be realistic. But there is a special 2,000 subscriber video coming, and thank you once again for helping the channel become what it is. I would have never guessed, even though I'm a whiny little kid, and I thought that maybe the channel should have been bigger. You know what? I don't care anymore. It's not about big, it's about better. I say it all the time. I'm going to remind myself of it all the time. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, because the subscribers that I do have are awesome, and thank you so much. And as always, guys, thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.